Welcome to my talk, DCC from the Viewpoint of an Auditor. My name is Hans Koch, and I'm the author and the auditor behind this title. Now and then I'm acting as an auditor for quality management systems according to ISO IEC 17025, and I would like to share my consideration what would happen if I would get a DCC presented and I had to audit it. I collected several things, but first let me tell you that this is the viewpoint of me, and so this is not an official standpoint of an accreditation body. So what are the points to touch? Is it fitting for an accreditation, the DCC? So there are several aspects. Does it need a digital signature? If yes, how to test the signature's validity? How differ DCCs for accredited and non-accredited calibrations? In Germany we would call the latter Werkskalibrierung. Are requirements well documented? Is the conventional certificate attached and conforms correctly with the DCC? And does the DCC follow exactly the official XML schema? Well, at least there is an official DCC definition in this guideline from the German accreditation body. And it says that DCC is a digital data record whose integrity and authenticity can be verified by cryptographic methods. So if this is the case, then it is crystal clear that a DCC needs to have an advanced digital signature. This is mandatory. And one has to follow these elders rules, and the homepage of elders signature you see here, it is telling you what is in very much detail, what is electronic signatures and so on. And nice thing is that they have this DSS cookbook, a software, open source software that helps you to construct such a signature. It tells you how the formats are for signing documents, for XML documents. This is our case, and what kind of digital signature, the XADES signature has to be used. Then there are some other topics, and the main topic for us is the signature validation and validation policy. Nice thing is that the SmartCom project has come up with some demo from our Finnish colleagues, a demo that shows how to use the elders validation server to check whether the signature is okay or not. And Pekka Nikhande made me aware that for an elders validation, the XML file has to be canonicalized. This is a screenshot of the demo, and it is a bit complicated. You need to install Docker and so on. I wonder how many auditors will be able to do this. Maybe the accreditation body has to provide something like this for them. So these first 2 points I have touched. Now, what is the difference between an accredited and non-accredited calibration? Well, only the accredited calibrations are recognized as a proof for a valid traceability of the measurement results, not the works calibration. So the DCC must contain a respective statement about this traceability, and is shown an example here how to do this. So also this point we touched. Then are all requirements of the 17025 well documented? There's a lot of requirements from the 17025 that have to be fulfilled. Many of them are mandatory, and the respective DCC elements should be mandatory as well. That would mean that we should upgrade the schema a bit. This shows an example how such statements could be added to the DCC, and they refer them to this part of the requirement. This is the L requirement, and it shows how the declaration could be included into the DCC. This would aid the development of a validation tool for 17025 accreditations, if the schema would be updated accordingly. Here I show a Python script finding certain XML elements, the ones that we wanted to check. For instance, here you need the module etree from Python, and it can pass the example DCC. You get the tree and the root of the tree and the namespaces, and then the second but last line shows you how to find then this declaration. This you can do for all the other requirements of the 17025. So this is how we can check that. And the last point for me is then, is there a conventional CC attached? And does it conform correctly with the DCC? How to check that? Well, it should be then in the end of the DCC is this kind of elements. And you see here the data element then contains the base 64 encoded example PDF. Here is a Python script demonstrating how this encoding and decoding could be done. We have an example PDF. It can be encoded to base 64, and also this base 64 string, which is then in the DCC, can be decoded with the lines 5 and 6. So, finally, does the DCC follow exactly the official XML schema? This last point will be covered by other contributions of this conference, I guess. So for me it's the end, and thank you for listening, and I enjoyed